What's up, everybody? You saw me waving my hands. That's because I was testing out how bad my overhead cam is glitching over here. Let's go to it. Really? Nothing is working right now. But we're here. So let's get to it, because to give you a little bit of just information, you guys make my week every week, without a doubt. This is the place that I want to be. So welcome everybody to yet another episode of the Camera Junkie live stream. My name's Luis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you as always to upgrade your skills before your gear. And if it's your first time here, welcome. Please be sure to introduce yourself so you can get the nice Camera Junkie crew welcome. And as the tradition goes around here, before I start getting into my soliloquies, first thing that we do is to go ahead and check out to see who are the first members of the crew to come into the chat. All right, so let's get to it. All right, first, right off the bat, we have on camera, Gretchen is here saying hi, Lewis. Hi to Aiden. Aiden, they're saying hi to you. Make sure music's still a bit high. All right, and it says hi to the MCJ crew and happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you as well. We also have Parker Jennings in the house saying hello to everyone. Mr. Paul Duncan saying greetings. And it looks like that's it for right now as we wait for everyone to trickle in. I did want to reiterate that this is the place where I want to be week in and week out, because you guys just made me feel so much better just by going live. If you notice, I was off by a little bit because I was trying everything in my damnedest and all my power to get the Vision Pro visuals to connect. You understand? So that I could actually wear it and then show you guys. And I had the whole scene and everything set up. Kevin just came in here as well saying hello to all. How you doing, Kev? And I gotta tell you guys, I got seriously frustrated. Actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. Yes. Okay, so where was I? Frustration. Yes. Why am I frustrated, or why was I frustrated? It was because everything in my power that I could do to try to connect the Apple Vision Pro to actually have it as a camera and have a camera facing me and doing everything, something that I've been working on for a long time to get the setup right. And I had tested it before for actual recordings, and today it just decided it didn't want to connect. And no matter what cable or what I did or whatever, like this stupid little thing, I'm thinking this is the culprit. But it also could be the cam links, right? But for whatever reason, connecting this to the HDMI to the cam link would not show my laptop. It just would not connect, and it just for nothing, no matter this cable, that cable. And I was literally like 15 minutes before the stream was supposed to go live, still trying to get this going to actually be able to convey the Vision Pro experience to you guys, and give you a hands-on to show you exactly like the power of it. But that's where the frustration lied, because I wasn't able to do it, and then at the last second, like nothing is connecting. And that's why even like on the opening sequence, when I go to this shot, hold on, because now even my cam link is losing connections here. See, you can see that little middle button right here. That's supposed to be that shot, and it's like blank. It just deleted itself. All right, so right over here, let me go to this, and now it's saved again. All right, so now if I hit the button, bam, we get this shot. And this is the shot that even right now it's like glitching out. You know, like the connection of it is going, you see the little like stuttering there. So like I said, nothing right now is working the way that it should, but we march on because after all this frustration, I was just like, honestly, guys, I was just about to say, like, you know what? This could be the first week that I don't like that I miss the live stream because I was that frustrated. I was like really like getting myself upset and I was just like cursing under my breath, you know, and then I realized that if I were to be this frustrated and I wanted to get past it and just like let it all go, my favorite place to be would be the live stream. So I was like, so why am I going to bring that negative energy to the stream? And I was like, you know what? Let's go without it. Let's forget it. I took it all down. And now we're just going to talk about the Vision Pro so that I can best explain it to you guys. Hopefully I can do a good enough job in conveying. But like the reason why, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, the reason why I was really upset is because my favorite game, which I've mentioned before, the Synth Riders, just came out with what I had mentioned before, which was new music. And it was from Kendrick Lamar, aka the Super Bowl halftime show, rapper. But it was an old track of his, like one of his more popular ones from back in the day, which is called Humble. So they took that track and they didn't just make it another song that you can play for points, so to speak. They made it an experience. So they shut down the scoreboards for that track in the Vision Pro. So they don't want you to emphasize in trying to gamify it because it's an actual like experience. So that game would always come out and you would have like your traditional interface, whether it was completely like engulfed, so to speak, like if you want to take the spatial atmosphere and be in it completely, or if you just wanted the window display, right? And it totally changes the interface. So you're basically like in the suburbs of like Chicago, and you're seeing like the bricks of the buildings just paved up, and they have like little buildings. So while you're playing the game, you're enjoying the song and you're getting like this amazing interactive 3D concert almost over that track. And that's why I said like they don't really try to gamify it with keeping up the points, because they know that you're gonna miss a lot of the nodes because you're looking at everything that's surrounding you, and it's two completely different experiences, which is what I wanted to share. Because if you were just to use it in window mode, you would see like little cars, like racing or chasing each other throughout like the downtowns of like Chicago, and so many different things and aspects of this, Kendrick Lamar experience. And then when you're in complete spatial, vision mode, so to speak, you don't get those cars anymore, but the graphics are that much more enveloping. So it's just super interesting. And like I said, I was just super excited. I played it like 7 or 8 times yesterday just to see like all those differences when I put it on, and I wanted to share that with you guys. But the tech ain't teching today, if you know what I mean. So we march on. Like I said, hopefully I was able to convey that, but that was one of the things that I really, really enjoyed about that new update. But we got Jeremy in the house as well. He says, Stream Deck software is giving me all kinds of trouble lately. Okay, so it's not just me. Thank you for that. But today it just seems like nothing seems to want to work correctly, like my cameras and so on and so forth. So I had everything set up, but we march on. So now Apple Vision Pro, I've had it for a year, guys. Now if you have any questions, or you want, like, if you had any curiosities about it, or like anything whatsoever, or if you hear something that I say and have a question about it, please put it in the chat. I'll be like highly aware or looking for them, because I want to know what you guys are curious about this system. So now, for the novice who doesn't know anything of what I'm talking about right now, music's a little bit loud on that track. There we go. Apple Vision Pro is their step into virtual reality slash augmented reality goggles. And they have a couple of key features. One of them is that they have a uh, probably the best pass through that you can have on any, headset currently, right? Which is the the ease of use of putting on the Vision Pro is probably the best aspect when you're using other virtual reality slash augmented reality glasses, because the pass through, if it has it at all, it's a little off. And what pass through is that the cameras on the outside are displaying to you in real time your surroundings, right? And because the other models are not up to the height of Apple's Vision Pro, the sensory feedback that you get from it tends to get skewed. So it tends to give some people what you would consider in like equivalency to seasickness while on the land. Your equilibrium gets, like off, and you tend to feel a bit queasy, and it can make you uncomfortable because your sensory input is being skewed. So how your vision is constantly being like, wobbled, so to speak, and it feels like it's almost like in a water state, then your mind kind of makes that real, and thus giving you the nausea, right? Because you feel it looks like everything's moving even though you're really not. And Apple Vision Pro is probably the best one to date where you can just put it on and not get that, eerie feeling that you would get wearing other headsets. So this thus allows you to use it standing up a lot easier than the other, systems, and allows you to move around in real space from room to room, place to place, while having it. And like I said, your equilibrium and things probably should hold up the best. Another key feature of the Apple Vision Pro is that it has no external controllers. So everything that the cameras are picking up and displaying for you in the headset, they're also tracking your hand movements and your eye movements, because your eyes become the mouse cursor. And let me see if there's any other key feature that I would say. It's got like 12 cameras. I believe it's like 8 out facing, 4 in facing to actually track your eyes as you use it. And oh yeah, and then it also has like the spatial audio without headphones, which is also a key feature. So these headphones, Apple AirPods, right, and AirPods Pro have spatial audio. What that is kind of like a surround sound system in your ear. So, connected to particular devices, my iPhone, my Mac computer, and using, exact programs like QuickTime Player, right? QuickTime Player is the one that I believe that works the best. And you're playing something on QuickTime, you'll be able to utilize that spatial audio where if you were to turn around, the audio sounds like it's still coming from that general area. It works so well that it sounds like it's just a TV in your room, except you're the only one that can hear it. Right. Well, the Apple Vision Pro took that into a kind of like a solo experience, but that others can hear, which is the fact that they have these little speakers built into the sides. Actually, I could just grab it. And these speakers are outward projecting, so you don't have to put anything inside of your ear, yet they're still giving you that same 3D experience, that same surround sound experience when you're using it while you have it connected to other computers and different things. So those are the main features of the Apple Vision Pro, and this is it here in my hand. It looks a little different because I made a 3D print modification. Normally it comes with this, right? This is the face piece that would be connected to the Vision Pro. But in my experience as well, the Meta style or the Meta Quest style, modification that I made to it has been a complete game changer for the reason that it makes it a lot more convenient to use. So I'm just gonna put it on to demonstrate, right? It's on now, and the thing that's very important is that it still gives me my peripheral vision. So a lot of these things, let me just check into it, right? And you saw me clicking right now, and that clicking is just me selecting. So it was asking me for the password, and I was just clicking away and putting in my, secure digit code into it. You can see some blue in it, but oh yeah, and the last key feature, and I'm not sure if it'll project because it's not seeing a person in front of me. Even if I'm in the mirror, right? So if I were to walk up to a mirror, it would recognize the silhouette of a person, right? And then it will activate like the face mode on the outside display, which is the last, I would say, defining feature of the Apple Vision Pro, where it has an outward facing LCD that actually takes the image of my eyes and all the expressions that's happening here from the cameras that it has on the inside, and then it projects them outward, so that if somebody were to walk up to you and start a conversation, they don't feel like, ostracized, so to speak, or put off, because that you wouldn't be able to see them, or more importantly, that they wouldn't be able to see you. And at first, I really thought that that was just going to be like a gimmick thing, right? But I can honestly tell you that I've used it in real time, and it draws interest, and it makes people feel at ease, especially when you explain to them that, hey, I can see you, right? Like, no, like, even though I'm wearing this, device, like, we can just have a conversation like if I were to be wearing a pair of glasses. And I put that to test when I went to Podfest just earlier in the year in Orlando, and I was hanging out, and I, like when the first night event kind of finished up, I went into the hotel, I went into the lobby, I put this on, and I started walking the entire experience of the Podfest. So I was just recording everything. And this is another thing that the Apple Vision Pro does, is that it records in stereoscopic 3D spatial video, right? It actually am able to replay these videos as if I were there. And to best explain it, it's pretty interesting. If you're wearing the unit, right, and you have it here in front of you, and you can see somebody in front of you that you're having a conversation, you can take a spatial picture of them, right, in that spot. And while they're still in that same exact spot, you can open up the picture that you just took and overlay it on top of them, and it matches. That's how amazing this thing is. It's so hard to emphasize that. And I wanted to show you guys some photos and videos that I took, through the system not working, but we'll try it another day. But it's very, very interesting. So, I've even done it here where I stand in front of my computer setup here in the back, and I just stand right there and I take a picture, and then I open it up in spatial. And because it has like a ghost mode where you can see where the things are, you can see like that it is the same exact image. And when I twist my head, of course, the image that I have in the Vision Pro twists, and that's where you can see the difference between the photo and reality itself. And it's pretty cool. You understand the fact that you're like, you can look at this photo or video in the same sense in the spatial realm, and it is as if you were there. So while I was in the lobby recording, I actually walked up, and there was a couple of people who were asking me what it was that I was doing. And as I was explaining, they're able to see my eyes, see my expressions. If I'm able to wink, you understand, to make a gesture or something like that, all that is conveyed through that front facing LCD display, which is not for me and the end user, is to put at ease anyone that were to walk up and do, or have a question or anything like that, which were quite a few people when you're walking around with this device on your head in the middle of a hotel lobby, at a conference, so to speak. So that was a lot of fun. But those are, I would say, like the key features of the Apple Vision Pro. Everything else is very similar, right? When it comes to this. Now, it has a 2-hour battery life while it's free, but I don't know if we can show it. Here it is. So you can see the bottom part right here. I have it connected to the USB-C. So when I'm here in front of my computer and I'm using it, it's basically powered indefinitely because I'm not moving, and because the power source is consistently being trickle charged, I'm able to wear this for hours on end. And if the question is, how many hours have you worn it consecutively? I think over 8 hours I've worn this consecutively. Um, During a work day, being able to move from one room to the next, to go to the kitchen, and like not lose track and still be connected to everything. So definitely an 8 hour work day. I've already been used to it. Now there's some people who find this to be extremely heavy because it's not light, but I'm someone who I would say, I guess I have strong neck muscles. Someone that I've been used to wearing a heavier, much heavier than this football helmet when we played football, in high school and stuff like that. And, having that, I guess, fortitude in my neck makes it easy for me to be able to wear the Apple Vision Pro with hours on end without actually having any issues of it being like overtly heavy, right? And once again, the MetaQuest style allows me to basically only get a red spot right around here, which is also easy to kind of hide when I'm wearing it, because if somebody were to come up, I just kind of like rock it right here. As you can see, it makes it a lot easier, right? And because it stays there, just kind of like some sunglasses that I put on the top of my head, it kind of covers that same red spot that I would get while wearing it, comparative to the traditional Apple Vision Pro setup, which, even though is comfortable and looks really cool, does apply pressure around the eyes and leaves a mark. So when I've stepped outside, to like meet somebody, they've even asked me sometimes, were you just sleeping? Because it looks like, you were just laying on your face. Well, I wasn't sleeping. I was in the Apple Vision Pro. Ever since I did this modification, has been a game changer for me. Okay, so let me go ahead and check the chat real quick. Oh, we got Gretchen's got a question. It says, about how much time a week do you use the Apple Vision Pro? That's a great question. Honestly, I would say I use the Apple Vision Pro at minimum 2 hours a day. Like a day at minimum, sometimes more. And that's because once I finish some work, I then start, like playing my favorite game slash my workout routine, because I also use my favorite game as a cardio type of routine, where I make sure that, like I don't stop playing until my arms feel like they want to fall off and my heart is racing and I'm sweating, because I've been trying to keep up with like all of these songs. And it's pretty interesting. It's kind of like a, how can I say, like a Taibo, I guess, right? Where you're just doing, movements inside, or feng shui. No, feng shui is the I forgot which was the one where you're just kind of doing all the stuff, like in air. I know feng shui is like the placement of the stuff in your home, right? Like, can't have the stove next to the water and all that stuff. It's not feng shui, but it's it's a word that that's what my mind is replacing it with. But I digress. So I would say a minimum, of like 15 hours to like 20 hours a week that I'm in the Apple Vision Pro consistently. And this is because, like I said, like whenever I want to have my downtime, I also use it there as well. And you know what? Probably even more, because there's a lot of times where I want to put Aiden down to go to sleep. And this is one of my favorite features, is where I can like shut everything down except like one soft light, where you would consider like a night light, right? And that's only so that the Apple Vision Pro can still track my hands and other items, so that the LiDAR system could actually work, and actually place the windows that I have visible and have them static in the air in the locations. But a lot of times I'm able to just go into it, and like I want to watch something, like, and I'm able to put on the AirPods Pro, because that's another thing, they still connect. So when I don't want the audio to be leaking out where it would make noise that might bother Aiden, I put on the AirPods Pro so that the audio is also personalized to me just the same. But I shut everything down. We go to bed, and I'm wearing the system in bed, like before I go to bed, and I'm just watching something on the ceiling of my place here, which is as big as I want it to go. So, um, counting those times, I would definitely say a minimum of 20, maybe to 25 hours a week. I'm using the Apple Vision Pro. Okay, so then she said no voluntary vertigo with Apple Vision Pro. Exactly, that was the word, the vertigo. Like, um, I've seen the pass through systems on the other ones, and they're just not the best. So that's why it causes it now. It's not that it's completely eliminated, because I've also known some people that they can get queasy over anything, and the Apple Vision Pro not being their native senses and having something overlaying on top of it gives them that same type of sensation or feeling. So it's not like it's eliminated, but I've noticed that a lot of people that I've been able to share this with them, and they put it on for the first time, that's the last thing that they've even talked about, right? They, like, I had a friend that I put it on, and when he was using it, all he can do is talk about how high fidelity the sand that he's seeing while he's in Bali, hypothetically, that he was just stuck on the sand. He's like, but the sand, like the sand looks amazing. I'm like, yeah. So it gets to that detail. Says no customers, no business. Well, welcome. Says hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Please be sure to give me your name, because if you told me before, I don't remember, but I'll love to be able to address you by your actual name. Peter Gregg's in the house. Those tube lights along with the flying light tube background decorations are genius. Congratulations, big guy, it looks awesome. Thank you, I appreciate it. Now there's going to be something when it comes to lights as well, that I will talk to you about, some some cool things that I've been able to do here with some lights that I normally wouldn't use, but now I'm also adding to like the set. It says they are so expensive. Yes, they are. The Apple Vision Pro is super expensive, and if you're interested in this, I would honestly recommend you not to buy it. Because the units that have sold have already sold, and if they're going to continue to trickle on, yeah. But it's a phrase that's used commonly in the tech world, which is don't buy today's technology with the promises of tomorrow's tech, right? And there's certain things that, even though this is amazing and it works awesome for me in my situation, are not gonna have, just because of the way that it was built. So one of the things that's the biggest buzzwords right now is AI, right? Artificial intelligence, or Apple intelligence. So the new Mac Mini has a new processors that have the ability to run that algorithmic, AI, Apple intelligence, and they're able to do everything. So they have that, and unfortunately, this system does not. So the Apple intelligence that's coming to all the devices will never be on the original Apple Vision Pro, because when they were coming up with this design in the M1, M2, chip designs, AI wasn't even a thought, let alone, like a priority. So that's why I wouldn't recommend this exact piece of tech, right? And also the price tag on it, because of all the extra little features. So even though I had just mentioned that the out facing LCD display for people's ease, even though it's a really cool feature, I also feel is a unnecessary feature, right? You could actually just have a couple of different things there in a more rudimentary, I guess, type of form, right? It doesn't have to have such a interesting 3D or like depth perception type of LCD, because the LCD and the vision that you see through it actually looks like it's my actual face being covered up by something, comparative to it looking like it's just a representative of my face being projected in front. So there's depth to it, but like I said, that technology I don't think is worth the price tag for it. Right now, there are rumors that there's a light version, right, like a Vision Pro SE, so to speak, that is to be coming in the future, and this I believe could be the one that you would want to like put your money into, which is gonna have, obviously is gonna have better sensors for, you know, the touch and the hand tracking, but at the same time we'll also have the Apple Intelligence. It's gonna have a faster processor, and if it, you know, if you're able to remove some of these features, like I said, the outward facing high resolution LCD, and you can just make it display a variety of different colors, right? Like just it can glow red when it's recording, white when you're in like when you're able to see the people, and then blue like when you're in an application, right? And just those three simple colors can dictate to people outside of your Vision Pro what it is that you're doing, right? Like it's flashing red while you're recording, is going to let everyone know, just like a regular camera does. So that's what I feel like Apple is going to be coming out with soon, to actually get the system and the unit into more people's hands. Right now, they just opened it up to like the worldwide market, so you know these are being sold in China and different things like that. But coming around in the future, the next version of the Vision Pro is the one that I think is going to really change everything for a lot of people. But with that being said, this has also changed a lot. So the tracking that I mentioned, the hand tracking, not the best right off the bat, but there's been a lot of software versions that have really made like vast improvements with the Apple Vision Pro and its systems. But let me go ahead and check the messages again. Peter says, I might be late to the party on the new lights, but it just struck me. LOL, love Aiden. Okay, Peter. I've had these for a while. These are Govies, so they're all controlled by the same application that I have the rest of the lights set up as well. And then like my main key lights, right? I have them set up on these little like they're like Bluetooth connectors, but for the plug. So how they're regular powered, and the switch for this light is so high up, I just put one of those switches on the back end of it where you plug it in, and now I have Bluetooth control through the same Govee app. So if I want to turn on my key lights or just all the lights, even though that they're not implemented to the Govee system, it's still part of it because of those little like trigger switches. Tai Chi, thank you, Paul. Tai Chi, that was what it was. It wasn't feng shui, it was Tai Chi. So yeah, that was the word. Thank you, sir, for having my back. Gretchen says, you're definitely getting a lot out of it. Absolutely, because it depends on how you're using it. So now, whenever I want to see something in a much bigger screen, so to give you like the behind the scene, this is a 24-inch monitor. That one's a 19-inch. Just to the right of me here, right, I have another monitor right here. You saw the glitch. This is the same identical monitor. So these are like twin monitors right here, so to speak. Right? So you can see they're the exact same. Right? And that's my setup. But now if you look at that, right? And then to give you some more views, right? Some more angles. Now that we have that, I'm gonna go back to my main shot, right? This is my main shot. I'm just gonna now pull you guys over to the side, right? So now this is a window behind there. For me to even get this here, I had to 3D print this entire pegboard and actually connect it to the top side of the shelf that lives above it. Let me see if I can show you guys that, right? So you can see, so it's connected up there through the shelf, and it's hanging in front of my window because my window has all of that space covered. So go back to this shot, right? As you can see, like all of this is covered, and this is where the window starts, right? And I come over here, and then window. We have a little bit of wall space here, right? And this right back here, this is another window that I've covered up. A lot has to do with controlling light and everything, so on and so forth. And a lot of light would come in through there different times of night. Whenever a car would drive while I was doing the live streams, it would just like light up. So to control it, I've always covered that up completely. And now that's my wall of boxes. So now I have a shelf above it, but then you can see right next to it, right? Or better said, right next to it, as soon as this window finishes, we have a door. And then right next to the door, we have Aiden's food. I have my refrigerator. I have my, like that's my kitchenette side, as you can see. I have everything organized and hung there. You see, you got like Aiden snacks and cereals on top of the refrigerator. So that's all set up there, right? But as you can see, not much wall space as well, because that's where the corner is. And that's this camera. So that's the first camera that we're seeing. So see, that's the camera facing there. So now coming full circle, this door right here that I'm pointing at right there, if I can, I don't think I can squeeze this any further to the right. Okay, that's my bathroom door. And then to the left of that, right, there's no more wall space either. Just to the left of that is my walk-in closet. And then from my walk-in closet, we're led right back here because I have, of course, like my chest and like my personal things right here, which is also where this camera and this camera is hung on, right? So we got this camera, we have that camera, they're hung up on this system as here, which brings it all the way back here. Why did I emphasize that so much is because I don't have space for a huge television, even if I wanted one. Right? Let's say I wanted to get a 30, even bigger than that. Let's say I want to get a 56-inch huge TV so that I can watch the Super Bowl, right? Anything like that. Well, guess what? I don't have the space to hang it. I don't. I've maximized everything that I could. So for me to invest $2,500 or $3,000 on a television, which is only going to serve one purpose, I put those funds into this, and this became my larger than life big screen TV, right? Anything that I'm watching on my computer, I'm now able to throw it onto the Apple Vision Pro, and with a pinch of my fingers and drag it, I can make it the size of my ceiling while I'm laying in bed. And if I decide to switch locations, I can take the television with me, which is like mind-boggling, right? So that's where I saw the added use into it, because if I just want to use it as a TV, right? Like let's say I finished an edit and now I want to take some time for me, right? And I want to get some downtime, which is where I really love the Apple Vision Pro is I have my game consoles, right? So in this corner behind me over here, this is kind of like my gaming station and my game setup. So right there, I have a PlayStation 3, which is not connected right now, but I still do connect it. I have a PlayStation 4. I also have my PC computer, right? My Windows PC, which is I used as a gaming machine with a RTX 3080 video card, 32 gigs of like really fast like RAM, and a 144 hertz screen. So like even if I wanted to just turn this on, it looks amazing, it plays amazing, it is awesome, and I have it all connected into that system. But if I want to get a bigger screen than the one that's sitting back there, then that's when the Apple Vision Pro comes into play. Two of the cool features is that the games that I play on my Windows PC are ran through an application called Steam, right? And I've been using Steam for years, from so many years, right? And it's kind of like the Apple Store or the App Store, but for my PC games, meaning that I've had this account for years. I buy games through the system and they're always there ready for disposal. Ready for my disposal for gaming whenever I want. So if I were to build a new computer or buy a new machine, right, I am able to just log into my Steam account and re-download the games that I've already purchased onto my new machine so that I can now get to gaming. The cool part about that is that these Steam games have an application called Steam Link. So through the same email account that I have connected to all of my video games that's on my PC, I'm able to connect directly to my PC. So when I'm on my Apple Vision Pro, right, and I want to game, I'm able to literally open up the application that opens up the Steam Link, and that Steam Link will then send the signal to my PC. It will turn on the PC. It will do everything that it needs to, like the passwords and everything like that, and get into my Steam. And now I'm ready to play whichever game through the link. And because it's connected to the same network, I'm seeing it the size that I want to. I'm seeing it the size of my ceiling, right? And now, this is the cool thing about this as well, right? That the arguably the number one controller, right? The number one gaming controller for basically gaming in general is the 5-axis like PlayStation 5 game controller. So now I don't have a PlayStation 5. I don't have the need for it. I'm still on my PlayStation 4 and it works perfectly fine for me, right? But there are some enhancements of the PlayStation 5 in the controller that make gaming experiences that much better, from ergonomics to functionality and response time. Everything on that controller is top notch, to the point where Apple decided, hey, guess what? Out of all the controllers in the world, we're going to use the PlayStation controller to be the one that we connect to our devices, like natively, and even sell in our Apple store. So that's how good these controllers are. And you know how Apple is, that they kind of just want to use only the best things. So if like Apple put their stamp of approval, kind of lets you know a little bit of it. But because of it, now I have the ability to purchase this and connect it to my Apple Vision Pro. So even though, and this is just explaining, even though I don't have a PlayStation 5, I purchased a PlayStation 5 controller just to connect it directly to my Apple Vision Pro. So right off the bat, every game that I can download and play on the Apple Vision Pro, I am now controlling it with my PlayStation, or basically the best controller on the market, right? My PlayStation 5 controller, and I vouch for it. I've always loved the PlayStation controllers, and this is just the best version of it. It is amazing. But on top of that, it's now connected to my Apple Vision Pro, so it works as a remote, or like a secondary controller to all the games that I'm playing on my PC. So I'm using my favorite controller from a console that I don't even own onto the PC. And instead of connecting it directly to the PC, no, I connect it directly to the Apple Vision Pro, and the Apple Vision Pro is translating all of the movements from the controller and sending it over to the PC and communicating in real time, while still transmitting at 120 frames per second. And I'm doing all of my like race car gaming in the Apple Vision Pro. And like I said, I could just be sitting on my chair right there and literally just turn on the controller. As soon as it connects, I connect to my PC and I'm off and gaming. And the same exact thing happens with my PlayStation 4. So there's another application which is called Remote Play that I have on my Apple Vision Pro, and it's something that Sony actually created themselves, but for these systems. PlayStation Vitas, right? So the PlayStation Vita, actually even the PSP with the PS3, was the first like handheld system that would connect wirelessly while you're in the network to your main system. So my PlayStation 4 has the ability where I'm able to be in a remote location, right? And this is really cool, right? I can be at my father's home, right? And I can turn on my PS Vita and send the signal through the internet to turn on my PlayStation 4, and then I'm playing my PlayStation 4 games on my Vita, full on handheld, to the point where I even have these adapters, as you can see, because the PS Vita only comes with the R1 and R2 button, yet all of these controllers come with R1, R2, L1, L2. And when you click on the inside of the joysticks, those are called L3 and R3 buttons. So there's 3 of the R buttons and 3 of the L buttons on every single one of these controllers. And the PS Vita only has an L and an R, right? Left and right. But on the back side of the Vita, it's all touch sensitive padding where you can touch with your fingers. And they've segmented each section to represent R2, R3, L2 and L3, and they've added them here, and these are just the little like additions to it. So whenever I'm using the PS Vita, this is basically an extension of my PlayStation 4. But it's, as you can see, we have to modify to add all those buttons. That's where this controller really comes in and takes the cake, because now I'm playing my PlayStation 4 and all of my favorite PlayStation 4 games on probably the best screens that I own, right? Or that basically anyone can own, is kind of like a 4K screen per eyeball, right? So it's almost like an 8K screen in front of me on my PlayStation 4 using the PlayStation 5 controller, which if you Google anywhere, can I use a PlayStation 5 controller on the PlayStation 4? Everyone will tell you, nope, it cannot happen, except with the Apple Vision Pro, I do it all the time. And here's another hint. I went to GameStop, and this is a pro tip. If you're someone like me that doesn't really do a lot of online gaming and playing games with like friends online at a certain time, because my schedule is so sporadic, I play games that are story based. And one of my favorite games that I played for a long time is called Shadow of Mordor, which is a action adventure game based on the lore and the stories of Lord of the Rings. And it was such a good game that they came out with a second part called Shadow of War. And when it came out, I was like, oh, I'm not going to buy it because I don't have the time to dedicate to it. Well, the other day, or well, I would say like last month, I found it for like $6, believe it or not, at GameStop, super cheap. And I've been running through that game. Is absolutely amazing. Having so much fun with this series of games. Highly recommend if you're interested. My personal vouch for both of those games, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, the sequel of Shadow of Mordor. And if you're going to get into them, play them in that order, because you can't play the second version and then go back to the first, because there's so much more stuff in part 2 that then it will be lacking in part 1. So play part 1, enjoy it because it's an amazing game, and then when you move over to part 2, you will enjoy that one that much more, and then realize that you kind of can't go backwards. So my recommendation. Oh, no customers, no business. This is Miko. How you doing, Miko? As you can see, I didn't recognize it, so I'll do my best to yeah, Miko, the entrepreneur. I got you, Miko. So good to have you here. Says you are a genius. Thank you. So now that's what I do as far as the gaming aspect. But more importantly is that a lot of the negative connotations that people were giving to the Apple Vision Pro when it first came out was that, oh, it doesn't have this application and it doesn't have that application, and people were even up in arms saying like, it doesn't even have YouTube application. YouTube doesn't have an app for the Apple Vision Pro. Why would I buy it? And I'm like, because it's amazing. Now, you know what else is amazing that doesn't have an app for YouTube and I use all the time? And just to give you even more emphasis, I use it to watch YouTube. The computer, right? And this thing right here, the Apple Vision Pro, is a computer. It is not an app machine. It is a computer. So believe it or not, let me be the first one to tell you, like, if that's what was stopping you, I haven't had to use an app called the YouTube because I've been using the internet and using YouTube, because YouTube is a website on the internet. So one thing that this thing has that kind of bypasses the need for Google to invest into making an application that Safari already does, right? Safari already covers this aspect, and it's literally a tab, right? Just go open up YouTube. Now, like I said, there's been updates. When this system first came out, there was a little lacking on the eye to hand, the hand to eye tracking. Right? There was just a little something missing, and sometimes it will click onto things because, you know, like let's say you get a pop-up advertisement and the little Xbox was like super tiny, and you know, it would be hard with a mouse. Sometimes like when you're trying to pinch it and get it with your eyes, it was even harder, right? Because the websites weren't designed for this, or vice versa. Well, we're definitely into the version like 2 point something when it comes to the updates of the Apple Vision Pro, and right now it's working really really well. I mentioned this before and I'm going to mention it again. I feel like I navigate through the web pages and everything in my Apple Vision Pro right now faster than I do with my computer. And the reason why is because like right now I have my cursor on this window, right? But if I want to deal with something that's in this monitor over here to my left, I have to now look at where I want to go. I have to find my mouse cursor. I have to then bring it to the proximity of where my eyes are focused on, right? So let's say I wanted to X a window, right? I have to now focus my eyes, and as I'm focusing on the X window, the mouse cursor will come in, and that's why I'll be able to precisely click on the X, right? And even though that seems like, yeah, that's how we've always used computers and that's easy, right? How many times do you find yourself, you're like, where's my mouse cursor? Where's my mouse cursor, right? Okay, where is it? Where is it? And you can't find it. You're like, oh, there it is. Now, all that time was time wasted, right? Now that you found that cursor, now you have to now then bring that cursor to the appropriate window that you're in, then find the Xbox, do the same process. So you've lost all of those micro moments. And that's where I say that I navigate a lot faster in the Apple Vision Pro, because as soon as I'm looking at it, as soon as I spot it, I can do this, click, and it's gone. So when I'm like closing out a lot of windows or selecting things fastly, I'm like click, 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 swipe, move this, move, like, and it's crazy how intuitive it's become, even to the point where I've been looking at my computer here and I've just done this. You know, I've done this and I'm like, no, it's the mouse. You understand? Because I've already gotten to the point to doing that, because one of my favorite features of the Apple Vision Pro is that I can connect to all of my computers and all of my Apple devices. So I can bring up my Mac Mini, I can bring up my Mac Studio, I can bring up my Mac Air, right? And have that become the display for it. So what this does is that it's allowed me to take my Apple Vision Pro on the road. This is my travel case, and like I said that I was in Orlando earlier doing the whole recording in the lobby, right? I had my Apple Vision Pro with me. When I got back into my room and it was time to work, I'm no longer limited to the small 13-inch MacBook Air screen. I open it up and like magic, a little bubble above my LCD shows up and it says connect, because it recognizes that my Apple Vision Pro, iCloud account is the same one, and we're on the same network because we're connected to the same Wi-Fi at the hotel, that it recognizes both and it goes connect. And now my 13-inch screen becomes a 50-inch screen, or even bigger, because I have full control and I can make it the size that I want. With another application called Split Screen, I'm able to duplicate or give myself a secondary screen from that, and once again, it is to the size of my heart's content. So I am now rocking on Final Cut Pro in a hotel room, wearing my Apple Vision Pro on a little MacBook Air, and what I see in front of me are two 50 to 56-inch screens. You understand? One with a timeline, the other, like, everything's on there, and I'm able to take two gigantic 50-inch screens or bigger right here. This is the lightest television that I've ever walked around with. You understand? That I've ever had to move with. This system right here. And that's why I said, like, for me, lack of space, right? I don't have the space for a 56-inch television. If I want mobile, like, monitors to work with me, right, I can take this with me on the road like I have before, and this becomes my mobile unit, right? And the best part is that, like I said, it connects to whichever computer I own. So even though this doesn't have the latest processors, right? And this doesn't have the latest Apple intelligence, and it doesn't have this, and it doesn't have that. What it does have is that it has the ability to connect to all these devices, right? So now they're like, oh, the new Sonoma operating system, right, allows you to look at your iPhone directly from the operating system, right? So you can connect and control everything on your phone while your phone is face down being charged, and you're not missing a beat. So you have that as a prompt onto over to the side, and now your iPhone connects because of Apple Intelligence directly to your computer. And like I said, this system doesn't have that, but your computer does. So that means that if you're connected to your computer and you connect this to the display, then all of the features of Apple Intelligence now gets transferred over to your Apple Vision Pro, because you're controlling everything. So guess what? My MacBook Air really isn't cutting it anymore as far as the computer that I need to use for the road, because I need something more powerful. Well, I don't need to change my Apple Vision Pro. All I need to do is get my new computer. And if I get the new MacBook M4 Pro with all the RAM that I need and all the terabytes, right? That becomes the new machine. And now the next time that I'm at my hotel room and I open up my new MacBook Pro with all the bells and whistles, that's going to be the MacBook that has the little bubble on top of it that says connect. And now I'm able to connect to that one, and all the new features, all the new stuff that Apple has brought up, I'm able to transfer it, you know, hypothetically, to the Apple Vision Pro, and using its amazing screens as my mobile like setup. So instead of having to carry around a lot of other things, it's gotten to the point where, you know, it's make it super simple. And here's something that, you know, like before the Apple Vision Pro was even announced, right? Before this was officially a thing, there was a patent that leaked out that nobody understood, right? And it was an Apple keyboard, basically this size. But the difference between this Apple keyboard is that it was an entire computer. It was the processors, the RAM, the GPU, everything, like everything was on here, and all you would need to do was like connect an HDMI cable to the keyboard, and that is your computer. And people are saying like, why would Apple patent something like that, right? Why would they make something like that? Why? Because they knew what they were working on already, right? And now imagine, instead of me upgrading to a new MacBook Pro, right? Because it's got the amazing LCD and so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Let's say if I can spend half that price and I'm able to just get the processor, the RAM, the memory, and the computer side without the fancy LCD, because I've already bought a fancy LCD, and I just build all that into my keyboard. This now becomes my mobile setup. A keyboard and an Apple Vision Pro, or in the future, Apple Vision Pro SE. Like, that is stupid convenient. Where you can just say like, this is my setup, and you can just put this on, and instead of connecting to a laptop, this is the only thing that you need to carry around. This is a whole lot less weight than even those laptops are. So, is this breaking? I don't know. I'll check it. So that's why I say, like, if done correctly, and if you know what it is that you're looking for, then this could be the perfect, like, tool for you. And it might not be for you, but I can honestly tell you, after 1 year, this has been a heaven sent for me when it comes to productivity, when it comes to convenience, and just general overall fun. I live in the future, right? It's the year 2025, and I live slightly like Tony Stark, right? Where I'm speaking to Siri through my headset and walking around and connecting to a computer, just using my hands and my voice and my eyes. It is straight out of science fiction movies, straight out of the Marvel universe, and yet it's a reality for me. And I have to pinch myself sometimes, you understand, because using the technology as often as I do, you could kind of just become like background noise and the norm. But like I said, I have to just constantly like pinch myself and be like, I can't believe that this is really possible in today's day and age where I have the ability to transport my systems, my environment, right? Like I can step outside, right? And start getting the breeze and the wind of, South Florida environment, right? And then switch over to the environment where I'm in Bali or I'm in Mount Hood or I'm in Mount Halakalakale. I think I messed that up. But the really the highest mountains in Hawaii, right? Like all of these features are available to you through the Apple Vision Pro, and that's something that even though I'm taking advantage of it, it's not lost on me one bit. That's why I absolutely love the Apple Vision Pro. I try not to talk about it because it's kind of like a personal thing, but then also the last thing that makes this so perfect for me is that the only other person that I stay here with is Aiden. So I'm not ostracizing anybody. I'm not putting anyone off. It's not like I'm ignoring anyone, even though this is the best system to not ignore anyone while you're using it. I'm still able to do it at my leisure, at my heart's content. So I'm able to use it as much as possible because I won't ever hear anyone say like, hey, can you take that off? Because I would like to see your face, right? Like that is not something that I have to deal with. And because of it, I'm able to take advantage and make the most out of my system. Like this is something that's such a huge part of what I do that there's like no turning back. There's no turning back. Like this is a system that I will use for from this day forward, like, and whatever iteration of the Apple Vision Pro and whatever comes, I'm gonna have my hands on it. Like even if they decide to not make anything else, like I know that I'll be using this piece of kit for so many years. Like it sounds crazy, but I'm gonna tell you guys, I will be using this system right here in 2045, right? And people will be like, you're crazy. There's no way you're gonna get 20 years out of this. I do feel that in 20 years, 8K resolution in video is still going to be good. Is the best that we have right now, but I still think it will be adequate, right? I don't think that we're going to have leaps and bounds in, personal eyewear screens that are going to be 16K. Even if they were, that is going to say that 8K is unusable, right? That's not even where I'm going. But look up right now. I this is where I challenge you. I challenge you to look up right now Apple Cine display that was introduced, I believe, 1999, 2000, if not 2001. Okay, which is their first dabble into what we have, like the pro displays that they're charging, like $15,000 for right now, right? Their first Cine display that when it came out was like $6,000, right? I still does, I think 1080, maybe a little bit higher, but those LCDs are still being used today, 25 years after the fact, because all the computers have changed. But guess what? You don't have to change the display unless it's good. And at the end of the day, this is Apple's best display to date, hands down. So for that reason, and the connectivity that it has, the future updates that it will bring, I know for a fact that I'll be using the Apple Vision Pro if I don't buy a newer version of it. And you see, like right now, I just lost my mouse cursor. I'm like, where is it? And none of that would even happen if I was in the Apple Vision Pro, because my eyes, whatever I'm focused on, is my mouse cursor. And it sounds like negligent, but negligible. That's the word. Sounds negligible, but the amount of time that you save in all these little microseconds, they really do add up. They really, really do add up. So, all right. Gretchen is saying, thumbs up, everyone. Yes, please do. Please give me a thumbs up if you haven't done so already, especially if you've been hanging around here. We're like 12 minutes past the hour. I was a little late, so I was putting that into it. We also have Scott in the house saying hi to the crew. How are you doing? And forward thinking. Yes, forward thinking. Forward for the next 20 years, I know that I'm going to be using this system and different iterations of it. If they come up with newer ones, I'm gonna be getting the newer ones as well. But just know that I'm one of the first ones to put it in on the Apple side, that I definitely invested into the system. And when we all see us using these systems in the future, 20 years from now, I'm still going to be rocking my original, like the old Jordans, so to speak. Like, this is version 1, baby. Let's go. But as always, guys, let's get to it. This is the time, as we do everything every single week. Bam, we're gonna hit that one. That's right. It is time for Cities Gone, channels that I think you should go and watch. All right. I was trying to find somebody who is based out of, or like that has like content on the Apple Vision Pro. The one that does actually is someone that I had already highlighted on Cities Gone before, so I didn't want to highlight him again. Thus, we have the Shillin' Chief, none other than Mr. Cam Mackey. Now, Cam Mackey is an amazing content creator. I was made aware of him once again through the Brandon Washington Uncensored YouTube channel. His live streams weekly, they're so much fun. Him, Jarrell Peak, and the variety of people that he's brought onto the show. Cam Mackey is one of them now. He is an amazing content creator. We call him the Shill and Chief, as you can see, because of that video right there saying sell out, right? He makes amazing content, and he's sponsored, and he gets a lot of free gear. And because of it, a lot of people give him that like negative connotation. And from what I've experienced and communicated with him and his videos, he's nothing further than that, right? He's getting contacted by these companies because he makes amazing content, and that's why, you know, he's getting these opportunities. So look past that and enjoy his amazing like country style, like super warm movie-esque type of content. Now, he's an official camera junkie. He doesn't stick to one brand, from Blackmagic to Leica to Sony. He shoots cinema lenses. He is like, he's an amazing content creator. And then also he's a lot of fun. He's just a really down to earth and fun loving person. So if you haven't heard of him before, let me be the first one to introduce you to this week's Cities Gone, channels that I think you should go and watch. None other than the Shillin' Chief, Mr. Cam Mackey. And we did it. My throat is getting dry, so let me get something to drink. Back on the green stuff. FYI, the can is green, the liquid is reddish, like berries. Similar, right? I say it tastes like berries and it looks like berries. I think there's something there. But guys, we did it. Once again, if you haven't done so already, this is the time for you to hit the like button, and it's highly appreciated. We did it. Let's go. This was episode 220, 220. And if you're wondering why is that significant, it's because it's episode 220 of 220. We've done this for over 4 years, consecutively every Saturday night without skipping a beat for over 4 years. That's just amazing. And guess what? We're on our way to year 5, episode 220. And it would be, I think it's episode 262 or something like that. I could be wrong, but I believe 262 would be the 5-year mark. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. And that means is if you haven't done so already, what you need to do is subscribe to the channel. Once again, like the video, and mark this down on your calendars that every Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're going to catch the Mr. Camera Junkie live stream right here on the Mr. Camera Junkie YouTube channel. So as always, guys, I want to thank you for making this my favorite place to be. I was super super frustrated just minutes before we went live. And as always, I want to thank you for making me unfrustrated and giving me my favorite place to be. You guys rock. You guys make this what it is. And without this community, God knows where I'd be. But I can't wait to do it all over again next week. Right. So like I said, mark your calendars, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Camera Junkie live stream right here on YouTube. And I can't wait to see your smiling faces. So until then, take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you next time. Talk to you. I did this real quick just to say hi to Mr. Alex Santo. Bro, if this is the Alex that I think it is, you understand? What is up, my brother? It's been a long time. Yeah, hit me up, brother. Like, it's so crazy to see you here, but so good to see you here. If anything, then you're one of the ones that I need to tell you. Mark it down for next week, right? We'll bring the music back on. All right, so be here next week, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I can't wait to see you here. Oh, K-Wall also made it in here as well. Congrats on the streak. The streak is going to keep streaking, baby. There's no end in sight. You understand? And that's why I said, like, today, I have to thank you guys because today was probably one of the hardest days because I was really, like, just minutes before the stream, I wasn't feeling it. But you guys, like I said, you guys rock and you guys make this my favorite place. So, once again, take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you next time. Talk to you.